Huh. Another magic door.
What was that?
Nothing. A ham radio. Nice.
Hello? Can anybody read me?
Hello?
Guys, did you hear that? It was a tower again.
Stupid tower.
Oh, hey, Travis. Got tired of counting doors?
You've avoided my call for too long, peons.
Why can't I get possessed?
Need I remind you of all the consequences of refusal?
Let's see if he's still in there. Hey, Travis, be careful. It's a little dark in there.
That's what she said.
Oh, yeah. He's still in there. Welcome to another episode of Strangers in the Alps, a slasher podcast. I'm Dan.
I'm Travis.
I'm Sam and I'm tired.
I'm also Sam and I'm tired.
Ugh, look at that.
That was Frank.
If you're
And-
being... Is that your chair?
And this week, we all gathered together, popped in our VHS copy of Event Horizon. Who has a log line for that?
I do.
Do you
Travis
actually have
does.
it ready
no,
to go?
I'm just going to give the pause because Frank puts in sound effects.
Tap, 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 tap,
Tap, tap, tap, tap, tap,
Hold
mix
on.
it up, looking at it.
VHS sounds.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
Put your thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
All right, hold on. I got the tape. So
That's what she said.
let's see. A rescue
A
rescue crew investigates a spaceship that disappeared into a black hole and now has returned with someone or something new on board.
Isn't that the same log line for Alien?
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
Word for word.
Yeah,
I think
Speaking-
it's also
That-
similar to Sunshine,
Yeah.
which I would
No.
love to cover
Yeah.
one day.
Of the
No,
In
Eternal
fact,
Mind?
a rescue crew goes to another military base to find... Yeah, that's also the thing. Okay.
There's a lot of rescuing in horror films.
Yeah,
Also,
you
this
notice
film
that,
was
especially the space
directed
ones.
by Paul Thomas Anderson.
No,
Yeah,
it's the other
that's true.
one.
Oh, no, Wes Anderson.
Paul-
Yeah.
Wes
Paul
Anderson. There
you go.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yes, Wes
Yeah.
Anderson.
No.
does
Speaking of
This
VHS
was done
tapes,
before Bottle
No.
Rocket.
Yeah. Speaking of VHS tapes, I found a VHS tape, and I honestly, like, this is me really reading it off a tape. I don't think the person who wrote it has ever seen the movie before.
What movie?
I'll see
Oh,
if you can
sorry.
figure it out.
Okay,
See if
okay.
you can figure this one out.
How
Hold on.
long do we have to wait?
The dude, one cool guy, who one day comes home to find two thugs have broken in and ruined his favorite carpet, the one that made the room
We know
hang
what this
together.
movie is.
The one that made the room hang together. Thing is, they did it because he's got the exact same name as one of the richest men in town, Lebowski. But hey,
You just
no
freaking-
problem. He'll get even. At least he'll get someone to pay for a new carpet.
Hey guys, guess what movie it is?
I don't know what you mean. We wouldn't know what movie that is.
Because the big quote, it says the quote wrong. It says,
Oh, what's the quote?
Yeah, it says the room that made the room hang together. It's, oh, that room really makes that rug really made that room tie together.
You presented it wrong.
Insert laugh track here.
You presented it
I
wrong,
thought it
sir.
was funny. I thought,
No, you.
Can we
it's
get back
fine.
to the movie? It was Event Horizon, if you're taking
By
notes.
PTA.
Okay,
yeah,
so,
Paul W. Paul,
such a
Paul,
great
Paul
director.
What story
so
Anderson?
what were our pre-thoughts?
Oh, crap.
I will start with Travis. You have 2 sentences. Pre-thoughts, please.
Yes, I thought the film was very scary.
No, pre-thought.
No,
Thoughts.
because
You're telling me what you thought of the movie.
I am not because you didn't let me finish. I saw this film on cable TV like years ago when I was a little kid. And I just seen the little bits and pieces and it scared me. And then I never went back and watched the movie.
Oh, I see.
That's what I'm going with. It freaked
me
me out for years.
Oh, Sam, what were your pre-thoughts before you saw the movie?
I've never heard of it, so I have no pre-thoughts.
So you'd never heard of it? So okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the same thing you heard of. That's the same thing you think about a lot of movies that we
A lot
watch.
of the movies
At
we
this
watch.
point-
That seems to be a trend.
Yeah, because you guys are recommending these damn movies that I've never heard of, and I'm like, I'm not gonna look it up, and then I'm just like, God damn it.
I
We'll
think
get
you
to
would've-
that in just a minute. What were your preconceived thoughts?
Okay, well, well, number one, Sam, I thought you would have heard of this one because it's a cult classic.
Yes, I didn't want to be that one
It's
guy.
considered a cult classic.
Hold on. I will say really quick, I don't like sci-fi.
I don't,
Okay, that's fair.
I don't
That's
want
fair.
to jump the gun on that cult classic thing, but yes, it has, according to Wikipedia, become a cult classic. Go ahead.
I had heard this movie was really gory and extreme, and so that's before watching it, I was like, do I really want to? This was before I became a gorehound, so now at this
How old
point,
were
it's
you?
like.
This was last week.
I don't remember. I think I was in my mid-teens. Yeah. It's an old.
Like
19-
97.
97. Go ahead. Are you finished?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's it.
So, going up, interesting for me was that I had never heard of this movie.
It's a good big
Because-
cast.
Right, but also 1997, this kind of movie was in my wheelhouse, okay?
Really?
Space, alien movies, sci-fi movies like this, I see these movies. So the fact that I'd never heard of it, and at that time I was a well-grown up adult who goes see movies, gave me pause. And so I kind of went into it thinking, I doubt this movie's very good. That's it. Go ahead.
I don't know. You're looking at me.
Oh, okay. So then,
Wait, before we go on, so this is the kind of movie that's in your wheelhouse. Have you seen?
when
have
I
you
say that, I would say like Alien,
Yeah.
Aliens,
like sci-fi
Space-
slash
the Terror. Like
All I can
Space
think
Terror.
is, why are we not watching Alien? Why are we not watching Aliens? Why are we not doing John Carpenter's The Thing?
Right?
That's what I kept thinking watching this movie.
Or
Why
Hellraiser.
am I not watching those movies?
Because
And why-
those are special
where we can have
presentations.
really great conversations about
Yeah.
these movies. But I'm getting way too deep into this, way too early. Although
You're getting into deep space.
I will do this now that I'm hogging the mic.
Okay, Travis.
I was
I'm
like,
just kidding, Travis.
I was
Travis
getting,
has left the chat.
other night I was like getting ready for bed. I was really tired. I think it was probably the night that after the last time we did the recorded. I was very tired. I sort of laid my head back in the pillow, going into a nice somber and just thinking, oh, I'm gonna get to sleep here. And then all of a sudden I was kind of shaken out. I sat up and I went, wait a minute. I wonder who picked Event Horizon.
And then I get a call as I'm leaving work from the cabin.
just drove around the
I'm
cabin.
there. No, I'm pulling out, and then of the
You're pulling
driveway. Of the driveway.
I don't think she said that,
that. I'm backing out of the driveway from the cabin, and then I get a call, and it's then I'm like, he goes, "Who picked the movie?" And I'm
Was that
like,
his tone?
yeah, and then I was like, you'll find out. It was Frank and I. And you go, okay, that's all I need to know. that was the end of the
that
phone
is
call.
a true conversation. He says, hi. I go, who picked that movie?
And he goes, was it? He goes, so it was you and Frank. I'm like, yeah. He goes,
Who did you think it was when like
I
at
knew
first?
it wasn't you.
Yeah, obviously.
I didn't know. I mean,
You were split?
it could have been either one.
it was the both of us.
It was a scream reveal.
So I don't know where we're at with our discussion.
Are you
but,
talking about the movie or the
but
story?
that was my
movie.
Yeah, let's go into the movie. We've all done our pre-thoughts. So
Wait,
let's talk
so
about the movie.
have you seen just for my personal like knowledge? Have you seen Danny Boyle's Sunshine?
I have not.
Okay, we're gonna have to cover. I don't want to spoil my thoughts on it, but I feel like Sunshine does this movie better.
It's on the.
What is the movie? Okay, I would love to see it. What is the movie? The prequel? I can never say it right.
Prometheus?
Okay, I don't know what you guys thought of that movie.
I liked it.
I didn't like it.
I really liked
I
it.
hope we're not going to do that movie.
No,
Wait,
I
did
didn't
you,
like it.
Frank,
I
did you
feel
like
like
it?
I did, yeah.
I feel like by doing this movie, we're already gonna It would just be
Well,
Repetitive.
because I kept thinking of that movie when I was watching this movie. Although I agree with you, there were many things about that movie I did like, but there were many things about that movie that sorely disappointed me when I saw it in the theater.
if you disassociate it from Alien in every way, it's a better movie. And that's the
I would
problem
agree
with
with
it.
you. The problem was they made it like a prequel, and it really isn't.
Yeah. But let's go. So Event Horizon. So what's it about, Dan? What's Event Horizon?
If you can tell me what it's about, then we'll all know.
So
because I honestly, okay, go ahead. Because I mean,
So
there's
Event Horizon
such a-
is
never
we
mind.
get
So much I wanna say.
we get a bunch
so
of
much I want to say.
in the opening. In the opening, we get a bunch of years. Like in this year, we developed space travel.
That was a lot to take.
Yeah, it was a lot of years. And then I guess so. What happened is they developed they essentially Event Horizon is the name of a ship. And they're exploring space because they want to find new planets and everything. And they invent like this warp drive or gravity drive, right?
Would you say it was space was the last frontier?
Yes.
Okay.
So basically what it is they invent the ship called the Event Horizon that has a gravity drive, so they can open up like a wormhole. So they can go from one point to the next instantaneously. And I guess when they do it, they have a bunch of crew on board, and the ship just ends up disappearing. And it's deemed one of like the greatest disasters of all time. And it's like 7 years later now, and there's this space vessel. No, they get a signal. And they're like, oh, it's the Event Horizon.
Much like Alien.
Yeah, so now they send a crew out to go try to salvage the ship to see like what condition it's in, where it's been. They kind of figured out, they're like, is it really the Event Horizon? So they get there and bad things happen. Is that pretty
Yes,
much?
that's good.
Can we say that's what it is?
They were going
Yeah,
to
no,
see
that's a very accurate
not
description.
only to salvage the ship, see if there's any
any people
survivors.
still alive.
Yeah.
What they've got to figure out what happened.
Right.
Because they've lost all contact. They thought the ship. I guess rumors are, and I guess the main character, one of them, Sam Neill. You find out he's the one who
Designed
the ship. So yeah. So he.
No, yeah. Your
I'm getting too
description's
into
good.
it.
Yeah.
I will just start off by saying I think Sam Neill's great in this.
Oh yeah. That opening scene is great with him
Yeah.
waking up and with the nightmare.
I think he elevates the material with his acting.
Right. I think the only thing I've seen him in was Jurassic Park, so I never knew what his range was.
And I don't think that's a good example of his acting. I
You
don't.
don't really?
No.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I mean,
thought
that's
he
the
was
only thing I've
really,
seen.
really dull, and I thought, and I'm told. Well, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm told by people who are way deeper into that movie than I am. Oh, but that was Spielberg's. He wanted that. He wanted him to be
The
a very
dullness?
kind of everyman, kind of not the that kind of hero kind of guy. And I'm like, man, I don't know. Jeff Goldblum stole that movie away from everybody.
Dan really
He's
doesn't.
charismatic
Dan
as
really
hell.
doesn't want to talk about Event Horizon. His thing in
I'm want to hear some positives.
Well, let's just start
I
off by
will-
saying it's Hellraiser in space,
yeah,
right?
that's, and it's Hellraiser in space.
But even then, it took forever for it to get to that part. So when I remember you told me, after whatever, and you're like, yeah, just think of it as Hellraiser. I'm like, great. And then I completely forgot about it while watching, and then maybe like third of the way in, you're like, oh, that's what Frank was mentioning.
Well, I'm just gonna start with this. Well, I think now's a good time. They were actually a lot more scenes
Yeah.
filmed.
Yeah, they cut the crap out of it.
Yeah, they cut it like, especially with like that like blood orgy was like super long. A lot of the torture scenes they cut out, and
They cut it, and you're gonna finish to tell them like what happened when the studio went back to them and wanted to re-edit, it, and they couldn't find the footage.
Well, that's the thing now is because with all these like now like with home video with director's cut and extended, they were like, since this film has become such a big cult classic, they wanted to release it because they're like, hey, we could get people to buy the movie, but the footage was actually lost, and I guess they found out, and then they ended up finding like some of the reels in like a vault in like the middle of the mountains in the snow, but it was unusable, it was damaged. So actually this boutique label called Shout Factory, late last year, about summer of last year or the fall, they released a 4K version, and they were so determined to find the lost footage, that they were reaching out to everyone. They were putting on social media, everything. Like, hey, if you or you know someone that has this footage, give it to us. We want to put it in the movie. And no one was able. So it's unfortunately now it's not even like the studio just not wanting to release it. It's like, unfortunately, just because, it was all on film. And, sometimes with these vaults, you don't get the best preservation. Like, it was just lost.
It wasn't even on their mind.
It wasn't even on their mind. It's lost forever now. We're never going to see it.
Yeah, this movie was even more gory. I mean, as is, what we see is gory. It's not as extreme as it was built up, especially when I was a kid. But like, even what we did see, like the stuff with the eyeballs and the blood orgy, that stuff was gross.
What
Yeah.
blood orgy? What are you talking about?
What the Event Horizon's original crew goes through when they go through the portal, or when they go through
Oh,
the
it's that flashback
wormhole.
scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that was-
yeah.
yeah,
They straight up showed you some of that stuff. It wasn't even through
wow.
Well,
monitors. It was like legit flashbacks.
like so much so they actually brought in like pornographic actors, like to come. Yes, it was, and that's why I think like. Well, let me preface by not saying the blood orgy and seeing that, like the level of like when it would just cut to like when they would look at like the video recordings and the flashbacks of what happened. I think that's why this film kind of like freaked me out when I was a kid. Is because I'll admit, I saw a lot of stuff as a kid. I saw a lot of creature features, but I had never like seen this kind of gore before.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like set in space. And when I was a kid, I thought space itself was kind of scary a little bit. And just seeing that, and then hearing about now where the film where they say, hey, like the Event Horizon, it went in like this like hell like dimension.
Literally,
like that. Just, I don't know, like thinking, oh, is there something really like that?
So,
like,
sorry, good.
like out in space. And that's the thing is I remember, because I think I was watching the movie with my mom, like it was on TV. We're like, what's this? And we're like, oh, look, it's Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne. It's going to be like, not that bad. And I remember it being kind of scary. And it was the scene where like the guy, when he like goes out into space and they bring him up and it's on the
Yeah.
table, that scene like freaked me out. And I didn't watch the movie for like years.
Oh, crap.
After
Okay.
that. But sorry, Dan, you had a...
No, I was just curious in what order you've seen all these movies. So you saw this movie before you saw Alien, before you saw Aliens, before you saw The Thing?
I had seen Aliens before. I had seen bits and pieces of Alien. Like I said, I don't know. Like I think it's just like films that are set in like space horror films. I've always kind of just like freaked me out. Like I don't know.
Well, because you're trapped.
Yeah, exactly. Just that like
I mean,
isolation.
that's a
and-
great
I mean, also-
kind of a...
very extreme.
Like
you
said,
can't.
Yeah.
No, you're trapped.
Yeah.
It's not like a Scream movie. You can't run out of the spaceship.
Yeah.
It's like you're in the spaceship.
Like you said, space itself is scary. Like watching Gravity, I felt pretty freaking
You're talking
claustrophobic.
Yeah.
about the...
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock one,
I
yeah,
thought that movie was so much fun.
it was,
Yeah.
but it's scary.
To
Cause
me,
it's
it was,
like
it was like Speed in outer space.
Yeah, and
but better.
Outer
Yeah,
speeds.
but I mean, it was the same idea.
Yeah.
It's just all I'm trying to do is just get
Right.
out.
if
Freaking home.
if this spaceship goes below 55,
I
Like
know.
my fear is if you're up in space and you happen to step and you got away from the ship, you're just stranded.
Well, that and then
it's
it's
like
the-
with the sea, you can somewhat try to come back. Like
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
with this
Well,
one, you're just floating.
And it's just me with like the running out of air, and then like the
Yeah.
helmets opening,
Like decompress- yeah.
Sorry guys.
Yeah.
You got some spittle on there?
No, like something
What
like
is
a
that?
piece of dust
Is
fell
that
on
a
that.
pube? What is that?
no.
Well, that's the thing about space. There's always that inherent horror to it because everything out in space is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
Yeah.
an added level of it,
Space
and
itself,
that's
yeah.
one thing that I really love about horror in space is it's that there's layers to the horror every single time, even in movies that aren't about
Like
horror in space.
like ogres.
Yeah, like even something like Passengers. There's always some kind of danger.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
But they were on a,
The wrong Chris.
they were on a rescue mission.
yes,
So they knew they were going to rescue something.
yeah,
Unlike like an alien, they were given a distress call. They were not. They were not on a rescue mission.
They were on their
I
way
feel
home.
like this group really underpacked for a rescue mission.
Well,
Yeah.
I
They
think
really didn't feel like they brought the right
But
shit
they
with
didn't
them.
know,
They didn't know
the
what.
dire
Remember,
situation.
Doesn't matter.
But
You take stuff with you.
I'm sorry.
You have some weapons. You have something.
Look at the hell dimension.
space.
I don't think anyone could be equipped for like a hell dimension. Like because they
I
did,
know, but it felt very underpacked. Like they felt very like
Even for a generic
odie
rescue.
do do
Yeah.
do.
I think
There's
the
so many
setup-
things about this movie you can just. And part of it, I think, is because so much got cut out of it. So they just
Speaking
they,
of-
Paramount, I think it was Paramount, right?
Yeah.
They possibly ruined this movie.
No, they-
Yeah.
honestly.
I haven't seen this movie in a while. It's been at least a year and a half, 2 years. But even back then, I wasn't looking at it through a critical eye. So going back to it now, like I still found it fun when I watched it this time, but God, that opening kind of drags in a way I don't remember. Like it takes a second to get into the stuff that you're looking forward to. I don't know. There's something about rewatching it now with a different perspective.
Well,
Kind of brought down a little bit of what my thoughts were on the movie. I still see what I love about it, but also more things are starting to pop up, and I'm like, damn, this opening scrawl of text is way too much. Like, without getting into a big discussion on it, Valerian, I think, did a much better job.
oh yeah, with the whole with Major Tom playing.
Yeah, of like telling you, like, these are the technological advancements that have happened in these years. Here you go, movies there. You know?
Well, because that's the thing, and no, I agree. It's like, hey, like, filmmaking, is a visual medium. Like, you can, like you said, you can have a way of don't just show me. I mean, I agree. Sometimes, like, in some movies, like, text is cool. Like, you got Star Wars, like, the first one. But it's like with this, it's like, this is too much. It's like, you're straight up just telling me.
Yeah.
Some movies, it's necessary. Like, if you watch a movie like Highlander, you kind of need that beginning text. But it's just like, hey, like, just start out with, like, they're in space. I think we'll understand.
Right. It was the
Yeah.
2015, 2046,
that-
2070. It's
and-
like, that's a lot of things happening.
And I
Yeah.
think it would have been a better reveal with Sam Neill if he says, hey, like, the Event Horizon, and everyone kind of freaks out and they're like, you're full of shit. But you already know now, like, ahead of time, like, oh, Event Horizon was the ship.
Yeah.
If you would have got that reveal with them, I think it would have worked a lot better.
right, the anticipation, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to consider maybe the opening titles, just like with Blade Runner. Maybe that was a studio decision, because I've never read the original script for Event Horizon, so I wouldn't know. But I know with if you guys have read up on it, Blade Runner didn't have that opening monologue. It was a decision after the fact when the studio thought it was going to be too confusing for audiences
Which
to just
studio
jump into
put out-
WB.
What?
Warner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So part of me is thinking maybe it was a Paramount decision, but either way, it was not a good first step forward. But how about that intro sequence with the music, with the really 90s, like...
New metal.
Yes.
That was
I
me
just-
too with the end credits.
I just felt like, I don't know if this ties into what you just said, but I felt the opening titles and the opening title music was so generic.
Yeah.
You could have tacked it onto any space movie. It
But-
felt there was nothing.
That's what it is for, like, the late 90s and early 2000s. That's a thing. Like, really bad electro, new metal stuff.
Yeah, must be.
I'm not a fan of any of that.
And to me, that's what I think kind of, like, hurts the film a lot.
Yeah.
Especially, like, in the end credits. And this was, it's like, it's plagued by, like, this was the trend. And, like,
Yeah.
having the new metal. I don't know. It really dates the film.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like what really hurts the movie a lot, outside of the fact that it was obviously edited to death, is that it's just overly familiar with movies that already existed and did way better job of doing it than this movie. I mean, I say because I saw all those movies when I was, in my college and
Yeah.
Mm.
on. Then I'm watching this movie like, what? This is not what?
I think a lot of that kind of go. I think it kind of goes hand in hand with what you're saying with the movie being edited to death. Because I think, like we were saying, with all this newer stuff it had, the studio cut it all out and got nervous and was like, and I'm sure maybe there was a test screening that didn't go that well. And I'm thinking maybe, the studio was like, hey, let's get rid of all this new stuff and let's just put in and leave in the stuff that's very familiar.
There was something that I read, though, maybe you'll remember, one of you, that there was a reason why Paramount pushed it and cut it way down. There was something that they were concerned with. I don't know that it was screenings. There was something specific. It was some other movie that had come out. Or
Titanic? Titanic
It
was
was
out.
Titanic.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
Titanic.
Wait, what happened?
Titanic wasn't going to make its release date, and they needed to put something out there, so they kind of...
They pushed it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh.
because Paul W.S. Anderson came out and said, usually with the DGA, directors are guaranteed at least 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And with this one, it was rushed so much that I think he only had 6 weeks.
That's
To
insane.
complete it.
And they were essentially
I think the editing process,
editing.
yeah.
No, they were editing before they were even finished for principal photography.
That's
Oh crap.
Yeah.
crazy.
So I think to be fair to the project or to the director for sure, I think a lot of things swirled around this movie that just really was going to cripple it from having
Yeah.
any chance of being what it might have been. So it just because I read all that after I saw the movie because I go by this sort of way of I'm not going to read anything. I'm not going to read anything.
Travis way.
And
The
you
Travis way.
and you gave me so much criticism.
I know, and I think it's great. So after I saw the movie, I started reading about it, and then I was like, wow. I mean, because it felt when I was watching it, I had so many questions. I had so many and then after a while, I just stopped paying attention to the details of it because I was like, either this is too deep for me, or you guys just did such a crappy job making this movie. But I'm not interested anymore. I'm not even really paying attention that much. I mean, I'm listening, I'm watching, but I'm stopped trying to figure you out.
Yeah.
You're not engaging enough for me to figure you out.
That's
how I felt.
That's the same for me up until the whole Hellraiser. Like when you find out what that gateway was, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this is different. Because I've
Yeah.
never really seen or heard like sci-fi / horror. I feel like Alien itself is something completely different. Like it's on its own. So I've never had that element of like hell or something or some kind of demonic whatever coming
That's
over.
true. No, that's true.
Yeah, so when that was fully revealed, I'm like, oh wait, no, this is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's where it kind of got your attention,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
see, that's something that I think is a credit to the movie and to the possibility of what it could have been. Is that all the parts speak to something that could have been really cool, like
Yeah.
the production design, even the acting. I didn't think anybody was terrible.
No, not at all.
I agree.
It's a lot of little bits and pieces here and there that could have amounted to something really special.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why it's got that cult status now. It's because the history of what was lost is
Yeah.
so well known that people seek the movie out to see it for themselves.
Yeah,
Right.
and I mean, he was great. Like, to me, I even think, like, the look of the ship is
Oh, yeah.
pretty scary. Like, the Event Horizon, I really
All
like
that
the way it looks
wiring.
with all the wiring and
Yeah.
the bridges. And no, I agree. And it's like, and I think as we say cutting, I know we keep saying this, and I think, like, the most interesting bits of the film definitely did get cut because it keeps telling you, like, oh, it's this hell dimension, and, like, and it just keeps... We don't see it. One thing that I did like, though, that I thought was interesting was when they were getting, like, the illusions when they were on the ship.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
with the past, like, haunting them.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you now, when I was a kid, when I was younger,
He's winding up.
and I was at the park,
You guys should see.
I had this-
He's
I'm having a flashback right now.
I had this incident one time where we were playing baseball, and I think it was like, I don't know, I think it was like the end of the season, like potluck, and we were all just playing, and I was at home plate. And I was swinging the bat. I was going, and while I was swung one time, this kid on the team walked up. So I hit him with the bat,
Oh,
like
no.
in the head.
Oh.
And he fell on the floor. Like, he ended up being fine. He just had like a bruise. So me thinking, I'm like, sometimes I still think about that. So I'm like, if I was ever in a situation now where I'm on like a hell dimension ship, I'm like, is that
Oh,
the
that's the
memory
kid.
that's gonna stop me now? I'm just gonna be there because this kid actually, like, a couple years later, ended up going to my middle school. So I remember one day I was talking with my friends and I hear, "It's you," and I go, "Look," and this kid came running up to me. He goes, "You hit me with the bat." So I'm thinking now, like, am I in Event Horizon, like middle school?
That's your regret.
So that's my thing. When I'm on a ship, I'm like, that's probably gonna be the memory that's gonna come out. I'm just gonna be on the ship, like working, and I'm just gonna see I'm gonna see a baseball bat rolling, and I'm gonna see this kid now haunting me.
Great.
I've never hit anybody with a bat, so I think I'm good.
I think I'm
Or
okay.
yeah, I don't know. That's what's gonna haunt me.
I will say I did like that moment where where they're getting the oxygen tubes, and one of the crew members, I don't remember her name right now, but she gets distracted. She goes up
With
the
her
ladder.
Oh,
son?
yeah.
Yeah, that was intense.
Like when I went camping.
God damn it.
I think for me, I didn't like that part because they knew clearly what was happening with the
Yeah.
illusions. So for you to get tricked, I don't know,
Yeah.
that tripped me out. I was like,
But I just
That's one thing I kind of I've given up on with hallucinations in movies. At this point, I just let it happen because my thinking is they're probably implying that there's some kind of otherworldly pull to it.
Yeah.
So I think whenever there's something like that, a character I just assume a character is less likely to be logical just because it's the whole magic of the hallucination just being so intense and so real
shut up.
that it kind of overrides any logic with a character.
What do you think sorry to jump, but what do you think the possibilities are that in 2047 cigarettes will even exist anymore?
they're gonna be vape.
Because
They already are.
That just stood out as such a weird thing. The one character is just smoking all the time.
That's always.
And all I was thinking was, yeah, there ain't gonna be any cigarettes in 2047.
For me, it's just
or they're gonna be good for you. They're gonna
No.
find out we were wrong. Smoking's okay.
for me, I'm like,
Milk is bad.
why are you smoking in space around all of these
Right. While we're using up
Oxygen?
oxygen.
Yeah,
That was just,
I don't know. I just
I
feel,
get he was that guy. He was that character, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I feel like that's a big trope of the genre though. It's always the when Aliens started, it's oh, we're like the space truckers, we're these blue collar workers and we're here just smoking. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen him smoking on a spaceship.
Well, I'm just. I
Hey,
mean,
they're
you
just
saw
doing their
Aliens.
job.
You've seen
Hey,
Aliens.
leave me
Well, you
alone,
haven't Aliens. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to my union.
I also think, and you maybe could clarify this because this might be in a moment I had a brain fart. So they go into what do they call it when they go into the water, or in some places they freeze you, and some places
Oh,
they
the
put you to sleep.
cryogenic
There's
sleep
always
stasis.
every space movie.
Stasis.
You gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta be down for 25 years
Yeah.
before we can get
Yeah.
to where we're going. It's just another, I guess you'd call it a trope, whatever. It's just another aspect of those movies where I kind of go,
you
I've
don't
seen
like
this
it.
so many times. I don't care.
And it takes so
do something original.
that
This movie was
scene.
full of unoriginality
Like-
as far as the space stuff.
Well,
I
yeah.
thought anyway.
Like you were saying, Frank, how you said you find some of the beginning stuff kind of boring. That's my part. Whenever the movie's on, when they're doing the whole extended I've seen this in movies before. I know what stasis is. They explain it to you, then they get ready in the outfits, and then you put them. That's always the
They don't, they're doing it like they've never,
yeah,
we've never
seen
this
it before. So that's
Yeah.
always the scenes where I'm okay, I'm gonna go to the kitchen or I'm gonna go grab a snack.
Yeah, but I'm
for
afraid
me,
an alien might jump
yeah,
out.
that's
You
what I'm
kind of
saying.
zone out.
That's my whole part of the film when I just kind of just zone out.
Yeah.
I do have a positive thing to say about that.
Oh.
So,
Wow. There's
Cinema-
no room for positivity in this
When they do it
discussion.
like The
Especially for
Shining,
me.
Positivity.
when they make it like The Shining, when
the
it
positivities. I
oh
think
nasty.
really from you. The cinematography of when they reveal or they pull back and everybody is about to get out of stasis, or when he was dreaming or whatever.
Right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought that was a creepy shot.
I did
Oh
too.
yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's just kind of like floating,
I did too.
and it's dark. I like that shot.
That was cool.
Just the emptiness of the ship too
Yes.
was really
Yeah.
That was
okay,
cool.
So I did you now that you've seen it, and we've talked about this before, do you see the similarities to Dead Space?
Yeah.
Right?
That part, and the exploration of both ships.
Yeah.
I wrote down that it felt very much like a video game,
Yeah.
and them just I don't know. It was very
So
creepy.
Dan, we mentioned this in the text group chat that we wanted you to play Dead Space.
Right, I read that.
Dead Space takes a lot of inspiration from this movie.
Oh,
So
really?
you could look you
Okay,
could look
okay.
forward
They've
to that.
straight up admitted it.
Wow,
Yeah,
I
they
can't wait. Question. Has everybody here, I've brought this up 2 or 3 times tonight anyway, but it's so locked in my head now. Has everyone seen John Carpenter's The Thing?
Yes.
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 Oh well, I think we need to cover that movie.
Yeah, I
at
think
some
that's going to be a
point.
special episode for us.
Yeah.
I
Speaking
think
of
that'd be a great conversation.
having seen things before, I remember when in 2014 when I went to theaters and I watched Interstellar, and they had the scene where they explained what a wormhole was, and they had the poster. And they cut it in half and put the hole.
That's where it was from.
I was like, I remember watching it, so I'm like, that's Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Like, they took the exact same explanation.
I'm there. I'm like, what movie had I seen this where it was like I pictured him
With
like
the
he's
pencil.
gonna fold it, he's gonna punch
Yeah.
the thing in.
It's a very effective
I was
explanation.
thinking Donnie Darko for some reason, but no, Interstellar. You're right.
If I tell you that, I can get fired.
Wait, going back to Dead Space really quick. The corridor with the
With
stupid
the ribbing,
that
Yeah.
and like the floating
the
objects.
hand. Yeah.
Was that like a ripoff?
Yeah.
Well, I would
I
say
mean,
homage.
inspiration.
Inspiration.
homage,
Inspiration,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
That's what we call it when we want to say rip-off, right?
But
we,
the
we call
CGI
it-
was
homage.
horrible.
we call it homage.
Ripping off
Yeah, the
with
CGI
style.
takes me out. Like, especially that
Instantly.
first shot in the
Which
beginning.
CGI?
Where they're in the
And the
corridor
floating.
and you see like the floating objects.
Anything that's floating, it
Anything
just
that's
looks
floating
so
is,
bad.
It's really
Which-
dated CGI.
Understandable, right? But it
But
took me out.
I mean, you have
I mean,
to. You
2000
have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2001.
Did you-
2001 did
I
it.
found they were underwhelmed. They seemed very underwhelmed by the floating bodies that went by.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be like,
I've seen
which,
it before.
which way's the exit? I'm out of here. I mean, it felt very, I don't know. That's
I-
a very nitpicky thing to
I
say.
will say that the CGI is passable, except for at the beginning when it comes right after the great miniature work on the ship from the outside. Like it transitions from the outside of the ship, and you see the details on
Yeah.
the Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
And then you cut to inside. Oh wait, no. It was outside of the Event Horizon when you
When it
first
goes
see
to
it.
the bridge.
Yeah, and then
That's
you
bad
cut
CGI.
into the bridge with all the floating stuff.
Yeah.
It just really points out
Yes.
the CGI, the computer generated imagery of it all.
But on the other side, the positivities is the set design.
Ooh,
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Holy
No,
crap.
I like the lights in the ship and everything.
Yeah.
The way it's lit inside.
Ooh,
Like
Yeah.
the lights on the gravity drive
Yeah.
and the way that they kind of spin around and every once in a while they all kind of synchronize and you get the full flash of light. That's all great. I
Yeah.
really love that about and that's how you can tell the difference between a good a well-produced sci-fi film and a terrible one. It's that the sci-fi-ness of it feels lived in. Like you feel like this was built by people. They spent time building out parts of this ship. This ship has been in use. You know, it's a universe.
Yeah.
You know?
That room, that meeting room, that white room, that gave me
Oh.
alien vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
the same set.
Is it?
No. I'm
It
just
could have
assuming
been.
it could
Wouldn't
have been.
surprise me.
Well,
Save
same
money.
sets to another film too that
Really quick, what year did Alien come out?
1978, 8 or 9.
And
I
this
think
was-
it was 79.
This is 97.
Yeah, but if you look at
You just
Alien
swa- you
like
just
today
swap-
and watch
Yeah.
it,
You just
it
swap
still
it.
holds
No,
up.
absolutely. Yeah,
Just
yeah.
swap the 9 and
Yeah.
7 and you got Alien. I mean, Event Horizon.
Okay, thank you. Mansplainer.
Nice. I wonder if that was on
But
purpose.
another one, and I don't know if any of you ever saw this. Dan, I know for sure you've never even heard of this one. Is a film that I think would kind of make an interesting prequel to this one. Is a film that came out in 2009.
Virus.
No, I was gonna say Pandorum with Dennis Quaid.
Oh, no.
yeah.
No.
Is it though?
Did you see it?
Speaking
I've
of
never
horror
even
in
heard of
space.
it, which
So
tells
ba-
me it's probably not good.
It was pretty low budget. I think when it came out, it didn't get a huge wide release.
I saw one trailer the whole year that when that came
Pandora?
out. Yeah. One trailer behind one movie and that was it.
What's the poster? The one with the hand?
Yeah, the hand
The
with
gray-
the tubes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Pandorum, yeah, it's the same where it's kind of like this it's like a ship, and I think it's like what they're trying to like. It's a ship, and they're trying to go to like a new Earth, so it's kind of like a Noah's Ark kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's the captain goes crazy and ends up like opening up all the corridors, so like thousands of people just die.
Oh, cute.
And the ship gets lost. So now what
Super
it is
cute.
now is these
Soup's cute.
these people, because they had them sleeping and they'd wake up.
Yeah.
And they'd go shift so several months. And I guess they wake up and they're kind of trying to figure it out. And it's cool. It's like you have now in the ship. There's like cannibals in the ship. There's all these different factions, and it almost serves as like a prequel or like a side quest.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
that while you guys are speaking about this, Dan is Googling it and looking at the Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh my God. It says, while it might prove somewhat satisfying to devout sci-fi fans, Pandorum's bloated, derivative plot ultimately leaves it drifting in space. Thank you. I don't need to see this movie.
Clever.
Wait, going back on track. Production design. The scene where he was going through Sam Neill going through the duct, that green duct.
That was so
I was
good.
gonna say the green. Yeah, I like the green.
love that one. The lighting
So
and
I said
everything.
the lights. I was like, yeah, the green
Yeah.
when they're pulling the things out.
Yes.
Yeah, the like motherboard.
Yeah.
corridor. That was cool. I like I said again. There's all these hints about something that could have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really sucks that film preservation in general is given such a backseat that we've lost
Yeah.
and continue to lose all these things
Yeah.
that like this is film history. Is it a great movie? No, but that doesn't mean that we should just throw this all away. All of this stuff has value.
Yeah, and I agree because you always hear stories too about like you said, like these films, they just like throw them in a room. It's like there was no proper vault with like temperature controlled. It's like I don't know, like they didn't know. It just sucks. I don't know. I'm repeating what Frank said, but
Louder?
it
Just louder.
yeah, but it just sucks. I don't know. It's
But
just
not as well.
It's just sad, like how much stuff gets lost.
Yeah.
Like even now, and like now everything's digital. It's like I don't know. I feel like some stuff still gets lost.
Yeah.
I hope Fast 10 gets lost. Just
Fasten
kidding.
your
Fastix.
seatbelts.
Oh my.
I was gonna say something.
Fast 10. Yeah, I think we should give our final thoughts.
Ooh.
Okay, Frank, you can go
O'Reilly.
first.
I like the
Auto parts.
I do love the line where we're going, we won't need eyes to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Again.
I was gonna wrap that. Yeah.
The CGI on that one, I feel like you could have done special effects makeup.
Yeah. Which they end up doing anyway with when Neil's full on like
Right. So if you
space
could do a
Cenobite.
full on, yeah, if you could do that, why can't you just freaking do the eyes?
Yeah, again, funky CGI. Not as bad as that initial transition,
Yeah.
but it's just such a weird like decision to go from that funky CGI to the full body prosthetics
look
that they
great,
do.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
What
creepy.
did-
Yeah.
But again, Neil like completely sells it. Like I think he does a really good job of going from, kind of a good guy to like
You-
devout,
yeah.
crazy
You see that slow
hell
descent.
priest. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the ending? Do you think it's like it was all a dream? I think when they get rescued, do you think they're still on the ship?
I was hoping it was gonna be a fake out.
See, I don't know, because that's what I was thinking too with the fake out. With me, it's like, I kind of think it's like neither. I
Yeah.
think it's just kind of the weakest writing of the film. I think it's
really?
kind of just one of those like, oh, well, we like leave it up to the viewer to decide. But at the same time, it's like, well, no, they just didn't have an answer.
You know
So
what
they
I-
said, we're going to leave it up to the viewer.
Yeah.
And you know what I decided?
Oh no.
I don't care. That's literally, when that movie ended, I went, wow, I really don't care what this ending means.
I have two things. First, what was that body that came out of the gateway first time? Remember? He came out from the liquid.
Oh, right. I have no
what was
idea.
that?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember
How about that?
How about that, Sam?
How about that?
Speaking of not remembering this anymore, Dan, what would you say your final thought?
Wait, no, I said I
know,
have
I'm
two
just kidding.
things.
I know.
My God. Second thing, remember when he was like, "Oh, I never miss," and he completely missed.
Completely misses
and
like
then
5
hit-
times.
And then hit the window, and then the space came in.
Yeah.
Why didn't anybody die?
Because the script said so, Sam.
Everybody was hanging on like when a plane is, boop, and like you just hang
So
on
you
for
were,
dear life.
You were actually still interested at that point. I was so checked out by that point.
Yeah, you're looking at me like you're really confused. But yeah, I'm just like, why didn't
So-
anybody explode?
I just gave up on the movie.
Yeah, I
I
should've
gave
done
up
that.
on it so,
I
like in the
tried.
middle of the movie, I just gave up.
I
I
think
didn't-
it was just the Hellraiser aspect that kept me clinging
I
on.
need to
Yeah.
know, what was the story of you? Did you have to like wake up early on
yeah.
like a Tuesday
He
morning?
wasn't sick, so that's why he's
Yeah.
not
Actually,
attached.
no. I actually watched this movie. I think it was Friday evening. I had
So
some
you
time.
wasted a Friday evening.
I had some time. Joni was like working late, gonna go to the gym. I didn't think she was gonna be home till about 8:30. It was about 6, and I went, crap, this movie's less than 2 hours long. I can knock this thing out
That's the
right
best
now.
part.
And that's what I did.
An hour 35.
That, watched it, knocked it out,
Yeah.
made my notes, didn't care at the end.
What did you think of Lawrence Fishburne?
Larry?
Yeah, good old Larry.
I call him Larry because I saw him in an August Wilson play on Broadway before he actually came to Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
And honestly, I think I might still have the program. He was called Larry Fishburne.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He
really?
didn't
That's what
become
it's on there?
Lawrence till I think he came to Hollywood. Or maybe
more
he was Larry
established
I think
earlier.
some of
actor.
his early work, he was
Yeah.
still called Larry
I thought
as
he
well.
was good. I thought the acting was fine. I had no issues with the acting.
He was stern when he needed to
I
be.
thought everybody was. I thought it was all very,
Well done.
not
well done, but
not well done, but also not a distraction. I
Yeah.
was not distracted by the acting. That was not my problem.
I hope this does not become another John Leguizamo debate.
Situation.
But I really think another very underutilized actor, I think he did great in this, is good, is Jason Isaacs.
oh, he's so good in this.
I like him a lot.
in the little bit that he is. He's the
The guy who was smoking.
oh, Jason Isaac's a good actor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I mean, he's done a lot of work. He's
Yeah.
a good guy. I mean, a good actor.
How did you guys feel about the one guy that got when he
sucked
was
into space.
when he was magnetized and then the ship exploded, so he was just like floating in space, and he's like, I'm just gonna blast all my air.
Yeah, it's just like that was very Jason X for me.
It
And
was.
it was just so funny that I feel like it
Then
didn't
he
fit
comes
in.
in at the end, doesn't he?
Right,
Something
yeah.
comes back.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in the movie until
Everyone does.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
Totally, you
right.
totally
He's still
forget.
out there.
He was with Sandra Bullock. Sees.
Bullock sees
Dan. So the director, Paul
Thomas Anderson.
Thomas Anderson,
Paul
did,
W.S. Anderson.
No,
No, he did.
went right from there to Boogie
No,
Nights.
he
did.
It was a great transition.
It was supposed to
Boogie
be
Space.
Daniel.
This was actually supposed to be called Boogie Space.
He did Mortal Kombat before this, the original Mortal Kombat. Did you
Okay.
see that?
I think I did actually.
Did you like that?
I don't remember, but I feel like I saw that
Quite
with
on track.
Nathan, with my son. 'Cause
Oh yeah.
Which
I
is
would have to review it.
which is interesting. We're not going
Because
to
that was
review
the
that.
big. No, I'm saying I would have to review my having seen it. I'm 90% sure I saw it. It was based on the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Nathan was big on what.
No, which is interesting because I don't know. For me, like I always thought it'd be the other way around because he did Mortal Kombat and that was a hit. So then they're like, oh, he could have either done X-Men, this, or like he was offered a few different films, and this is the one he ended up picking. Then after he did this one, he ended up in Resident Evilville. For like
Did he do all of them?
he was involved in all of them. With Resident Evil, he directed the first one. I think he wrote the second and third, and then he came back from like 4 to 6.
Wow, PTA has range.
Yeah.
He did that
100%.
before he did
And
There
then
Will
he
Be
did
Blood.
that. Yeah, and then he did that steampunk
Or
Three
Magnolia.
Musketeers.
You know what? I won't say anything about Three Musketeers because I like
Wait,
trash.
Frank,
Which Three
Frank,
Musketeers?
I own it. I
Not
own
the
it.
one from when I was in high
No,
school.
no,
Mila
he-
Jovovich.
he
Those were good movies.
Huh? She was
This
in that?
director
She was
did,
my lady.
yeah. This director did a steampunk action version of
No.
Three Musketeers.
What is it called?
It's terrible.
Oh, okay.
It
Oh,
sounds
wait, no.
awful.
Cool,
The
cool.
official title is The Three Musketeers in 3D. Because
Yeah.
it was in 3. It's forgettable fun. It's got Orlando
Frank.
Bloom in it.
Frank.
I had a good time. Ray Stevenson.
What?
Yes.
I saw the film in theaters and I own the Blu-ray.
I do too.
Why are you so ashamed of that
That's
when you
so cute. Do you
when
have a T-shirt you can wear next week with it?
They can't see it.
It's in 3D.
You were so proud
Can
saying that.
Can I push for final thoughts?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
of course.
Final thoughts?
Go ahead.
Really, I'm starting?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I'm not gonna go back through the movie. I'll just tell you what I rated it because
Damn.
I think I've said it.
Yeah.
I did not like this movie. I'm sorry though. I am sorry for the director, and whatever Paramount did to ruin what potentially might have been a much better movie than we ended up with. So I feel like I can only review the movie or rate the movie I saw, though. I
Yeah.
can't give you any extra points for what
That's
I
fair.
didn't see.
Yeah.
So out of 5, I'm going to give it 2 floating bodies.
Not bad.
Not bad. That's fair.
And that's what I have to say about that.
That's all I've got to say about that.
Go, Trevi.
Okay, so Paul W.S. Anderson, I will say, I mean, Dan, I know this means absolutely nothing to you. I will say, I think this is his greatest film. I know that's gonna make you laugh. I think it definitely shows some talent in there. I think, Paul W.S. Anderson, his weakest elements has always been kind of his writing in his later films. I think on a technical level, he delivers. He can do some good stuff. Never thought I'd say that, but I do agree. I like Sam Neill a lot in this film. I like the performances, but I feel like if you want to fully go in on crazy Sam Neill, and you really want to see him go out there, there's a better film called In the Mouth of Madness, which I think John Carpenter, it's a much better film. And it's about Sam Neill in the Mouth of Madness.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's in the title.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no, it's good. I'm sorry, no, it's just a lot of my final thoughts we discussed, which is a good thing.
So what's your rating?
Which is a good thing. I'm gonna give it, and like I said, this movie scared me when I was a kid. Visited years later. I see all the faults now. I will give it like
4.
no. I'm gonna give it like 3.5.
Wow, that's a really good score for this movie.
But and I will say this, I'm not gonna do my classic, oh, it's a great movie. It's just a guilty pleasure for me. I will instantly say that I will not defend it. If anyone says they don't like it, like you, Dan, I'll say, okay, I
You were very
understand.
defensive with Chopping Mall, though.
But that's the story for another time.
It's always a story.
So you're
One
giving
day-
it 3.5 what?
I'll give it 3.5 of that guy's like Jason Isaacs magazine cutout girl.
Hey, that's
three-
my girl.
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of 5 of those.
Nice.
Not bad.
For me, I'm torn. Because like I said in the beginning, I can't do sci-fi. I can't hold an interest to that at all. But also the horror aspect was the one that reeled me back in, and I really liked it. But I felt like that reveal took too long for it to come through. If it were to be a little bit earlier and weaved in a little bit more, I think I would enjoy it a lot more. So with that, I just give it a 2.95 corpsicles out of 5.
Oh,
Nice.
they sell 12-pack of those at Costco.
Love that.
All right, so I really liked the movie the first couple of times I saw it. Now it hasn't aged as well as I had hoped, but I still had a really good time with the movie this go around. The production design is really good. I think it's the strongest point. I think the Hellraiser stuff is really good. I just think it takes way too long to get to that point, and I a lot of the stuff that I internally criticize about it, I can't help but think that it's the studio, just because of the details in the stuff that I do like. It just speaks to a more competent vision than what we ended up with. So it's still a fun, gory time. Like Travis, I won't tell people, no, you're stupid for not liking this. I get it. So with that said, guilty pleasure wise, I'm gonna have to give this 3.25 falling mama bears out of 5.
That's funny. I was thinking the Bears too.
Oh, I will say some of the dialogue in this is cheesier than I expected.
Please help me.
But
What am I doing here?
I still thought it was.
Yeah, he didn't have a great handle on dialogue. I will say
No.
that.
As I said, his writing
Not
is...
real,
How
not
many times
clever
have
at
you
all.
seen it?
I've seen it like 4 or 5 times.
But
Okay.
yeah, no,
You,
Frank.
Travis?
I will
I've-
disagree with Travis though. I don't think this is Paul Thomas Anderson's strongest
What
film.
do you think it is?
I honestly, I don't want to give it away, but
we'll talk about it after. Because I say that now, I'm like, I don't know if it really is, but it's better than a lot of his other films.
definitely better than a lot of his recent
but
stuff.
You asked me how many times. I've maybe seen this, maybe like 5, 6, 7 times.
What
but
is it?
I don't know. I've seen it a few, but like I agree with Frank. Like it's becoming less, and I mean I bought the 4K
Oh yeah.
steelbook. I have it,
And it's
but
Shout
I
Factory?
I definitely now, like Frank said, the more I watch it now, I see more of the faults, and I don't want to say I like it less every time, but I kind of do. I see those faults a little more.
They
Yeah.
pick at you
The
a little more.
beginning is very slow. I remember like when I think we first got the 4K, Frank, on Vudu, and we were so excited. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. I ended up falling asleep.
Oh really?
I fell asleep and like right before they were doing the stasis, and I woke up at the end when like the ship was exploding or something.
wow.
I just
He went
knocked
into
out.
stasis.
Yeah, I went
Wow.
into stasis. And speaking of going into stasis,
Let's do it.
I'm going to stasis.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends about us. Like us, share us, review us. Just grab
Just give us a listen.
Grab a person in the street that you don't even know and say, hey, have you watched Strangers in the Alps, a slasher podcast? It's fantastic.
Shake them violently while you do it, too.
Yes, please. And pull out a butcher knife and, whatever.
just tell them, hey, when you're listening to this podcast, you don't need eyes.
You don't. No, you need patience, though.
You need to be like a doctor.
Okay.
I knew you were going
Have a
to.
lot of patience.
On that note,
Oh, shut up.
what will we be watching next week, Frank?
Next week, we're taking a little bit of a horror break. We're going to be watching a recent movie that may or may not be up for a couple of awards. We're going to be watching Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, yeah.
Woo woo.
Oh, right on.
Childhood trauma
That may
unlocked.
be winning a couple. That may be winning some big awards, I think.
It's
But
been-
we'll get into that
It's
next
not
week.
a slasher, but it's gonna maybe slash its way into some. I don't
There
know.
you go.
Okay.
It's gonna.
La La Land. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you very much. I'm Dan.
I am
Travis,
Travis.
Sam, Frank.
Travis.
All right, thank you. Join us next week for another episode of Strangers in the Alps, a slasher podcast. We're out.
I'm Frank.
I'm Travis. Okay, let's see. So the back of the VHS tape says, "A rescue queue rescue."
what?
The back of the tape says,
A rescue
We already got the blooper.
that says